Hello and welcome to my world of crochet. My name is Dina and today I'm here with you for another yarn talk video. And as you know, we cannot talk yarn without me having my faithful mug of tea here, which today is my morning blend. And the morning blend contains of a very fresh herbal taste of lemon vinaigrette, fennel, lemongrass and mint. So it's this, fresh morning blend, and it's perfect with today's weather. Because today's weather is sunny. It's a bit windy, but it's sunny and it's cloud. No, not a single cloud. It's like there is no cloud. It's just pure blue skies and yeah, a little bit windy, but it's a nice fresh summer day and it's not as warm as it has been during the prior week. And due to the warm weather, obviously, I've not worked equally much on all of the projects. I've mainly focused on the projects that's less warm to work with, so to say. But let's discuss a few things here with the yarn updates and what I've been doing. So I have been making these hats for charity lately, which you have all seen in the prior yarn talk videos. And one of you actually made the suggestion, which I think was a really good suggestion, to add the contents of the yarn on a label before giving them away, just in case that there is somebody with a wool allergy or the like. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and added some small labels to them, which says both what they contain of and secondary how to wash them, basically. So it's just wash at 30 degrees in this case, because that's the yarns I've been using. So I have these small labels added on with a little bow tie here saying 100% acrylics and wash at 30 degrees. That would be the first one I made, because that's the one with the pure double crochets. Then the second one I made in the same yarn, which is the last one I made with the lemon peel stitch here at the bottom end. Also have this label. And of course, the last one, which is in this umami tweed from Hobby. They have a bit more interesting things because they have more contents. We have 75% acrylics, 22% wool and 2% viscose, and it's also a wash at 30 degrees. So that's basically some small little notions that I've been adding to these hats, so people have an idea of the contents and the requirements of washing these. We are heading towards a somewhat cooler weather. Temperature here in the house is also a bit more humane. For those that's interested, no, we do not have air conditioning in our home here. And one of the reasons is basically we only needed a couple of weeks a year at best. And mostly we'll survive fine, because it's not that warm that you can't do anything. It's just only warm enough for you to choose other things to do, I would say, than things that's necessarily keeping you too warm. So that's okay. We'll probably have 1 or 2 more weeks, I would assume, towards later here in the summer. Usually that happens a week at a time, and then it's a few weeks somewhat cold, and then we might get another few days where it's like this. And I realized that my necklace somehow has done funny. So and that's also the reason I did not start on the second hat yet, or second or third would be, because I did show you that yarn for a possibly new hat, and that's the regular umami from Hobby, which is 87% premium acrylic and 22% wool. It's a quite nice yarn to work with. I will be working with a 10mm crochet hook, and I will probably just be following the outline for the pattern of the other hat I made in the umami tweed. This is like a charcoal gray color, and it will definitely keep some happy head warm. I got this skein as a part of what was it called? A part of the Valentine's lucky bags that they were giving out from Hobby, or giving out, they were selling them. And that was a part of the skeins that I got there. And I must admit, one skein project is not the easiest one for me. I like to have enough to make something bigger. Most of the projects tend to be pretty big. I really need to get better at making smaller projects, so I feel I'm more accomplished for every time. At least that gives the idea that you make things every month. Even though I can see progress of all my things, the idea or feeling of having finished something within a week or 2 weeks span is kind of nice. So I'm probably gonna be a bit of a hat person as well. I will be making a hat of that yarn. The question is just if it's gonna be this week. It kind of depends on a few things, because I do have some plans scheduled up. And I got the equipment that I had ordered to hopefully be able to have good lighting for the tutorial that I'm making for the Leafy shawl that I'm going to talk to you about in just a few. But yeah, so I hope to sort of maybe start some of that progress. I don't know if that will be this week. That would be really, really nice if I can do that. But else it's definitely, I'm gonna get started on that next week, because I will have a few more days available than I do this week. It kind of depends on how everything, we tend to plan a lot of things, and sometimes it just needs to all fit in and fit in, and it kind of depends on how busy it is at work, and it's how busy real life is and things like that. But I have this idea that either this or next week I will definitely start for sure, because now I have all the equipment needed to get started. I did have an original plan of having that tutorial ready for when I'm going to Denmark end of August. I don't know if I will be able to reach that, because I am now a few weeks delayed compared to when I first mentioned that I wanted to do it. Time will show. I'm not gonna cry if it's not ready. I have other plans in worst case, I'll figure out something for when I'm in Denmark, so that you guys aren't gonna miss me, or in worst case, we'll just have a single skip of a yarn talk video. We'll have to look into that. But that's not something I'm gonna be worried about right now, because it's in about 6 weeks time. Yes. Then my baby blanket, I am progressing on that, and I am using this lovely skein of ice yarns. I removed the label because it was in the way for getting into the end. And let's see, I'm trying to find it here. Whoops daisy. I can see I'm almost finished the round here. So why didn't I finish that yesterday evening? Must have been too tired. Yesterday was more or less the only day that I worked on this, combination of temperatures and other things. But it's cool. I didn't do a lot. I did like this. I worked about an hour or so on this blanket, maybe, since last yarn talk video. I'm cool with it. I'm kind of accepting that's how it is. But I know the cooler weather is coming, so I might work more on it these coming days. It also kind of depends, because I have been in a little bit of a mode where I wanted to finish other things, and then this has been put a bit on a back burner. And this is a great project for when I'm watching TV series. But we have a program we usually tend to watch together with my partner every Monday evening. And last week, Monday, was just too warm to sit with this I crochet on. So I did something else. I actually took the shawl that I'm working on. But yeah, I don't feel bad about it. It's just how things are and how things end up lining up. But that means that I got things done on other projects. But in the end, compared to what I normally crochet on a week, I don't have the feeling that I crocheted that much the past week. But I know I did something, but I don't know. It's life. which is fine. I did lots of other things that I had to get done, so that's cool. Then that was the baby shawl and the shell stitch. I'm not sure, yeah, you have heard enough about how I'm making it. So with the V-stitches and a round of V-stitches with the chain 5 betweens, and then the 7 double crochets into the prior V-stitch from the previous round, etc. That's what creating these lovely shells. We talked about it a few times, so I think I'm not sure if you want me to go through that once more. If you do, I will do it next week's yarn talk video. Let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, so let's talk a bit about my shawl. We are at a stage where I will need to get up and standing, and you will maybe still not be able to see the full shawl. Basically, it's growing, which is wonderful. I did more work on it since last week. I did not add as many rounds as the prior week, but that's also partially due with the fact now when you are adding rounds, the rows increase in length, so they do take longer to complete. I added according to this, I just added 3 rows. And also not to forget, last week's yarn talk was on a Tuesday, so I have a day less compared to what I normally do. So that's how it's looking right now. This gorgeous leafy shawl. Ooh. This gorgeous leafy shawl. And of course we have the bottom end. Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's leafy. And it's way too big to be on the screen, basically. I think it is, at least. I know it is. It was last time, so let's see if I hold on each end. Like, we are at a place where I can't even hold on the ends because I'm fully stretched. Whoa. But it's cool. We are progressing very well. And I just, as of last when I worked, changed color again. So we are working on the last bit of the mint/light mint color change. If you look really close here, but you really need to look close, you can see it changes here. Ta-ta! So you can see that's a bit lighter than the row before. And just to show you the yarn, whoop, we have the center pull tab here, but we started from the outer edge based on how this cake was wound up. We have this lighter mint here, and the more like colored mint out here. There is about 80 some odd grams left in this cake, which means that we are about a quarter in, like a quarter left. But again, as we talked about, this shawl is made in a way where we keep increasing the amount of stitches in every row. Therefore, I don't expect to have that many rows to go slowly. Once I get closer to the regular light mint, which is left, I will have to prepare for the final 2 rows, which is slightly bit different, to make sure it has a nice edge. And then I'll have to block it. And the question is if I actually have room to block a shawl of this size. We'll have to figure out. In very worst case, I will look at my mom-in-law and give her a little smile. And I will ask if I can use her attic, because her attic is one big flat space, just like barely anything there. Plenty of room to lay out blocking blocks and block it should I really need it and should I not be able to find room in this house. I do hope to have this finished soon, actually, because that means the quicker I have it done, the quicker I can block it and the quicker I can move on to the other projects. And once I begin on the tutorial part, like really begins, I think I will focus on getting that cranked out with a bit of the rest. At least that's my current idea. Ideas are here to change, we all know that. And I think I'm still mainly focusing on trying to get this done. I am crocheting this lovely leaf shawl in a 3mm crochet hook. I've been using 2 different hooks for this. I started out with my Prim hook, which is this lovely ergonomic hook from Prim. And you can see they are inline hooks. They are in plastic or a sort of hard plastic, quality plastic. And they're definitely economic and really, really fine to crochet with, especially if you have the knife grip. I tend to hold my hook like this, so I crochet with it in my hand. But I have also been using lately this super soft, Chloe's Soft Touch hook, which is this one, which is a super lightweight hook. I have it in my hand and I would wish it was longer. So Chloe, if you're watching this, or Prim, whatever, make a combination of these 2, do a collaboration, please, make me happy. It won't happen, but we can dream. It's super light, it's nice to hold on, it works well with a knife grip, though I wish it was longer. I can imagine it works well if you are like the pencil holder person that crochet as well. I do believe it's almost made for it looking at this place here, but it's working well because when I do my knife grip, I hold my thumb here, but pencil holders will hold it more like this. So it's kind of friendly for both, and it's very lightweight, and I do like the fact that it's lightweight. And the hook here, I wish it was slightly more inline because I'm a bit of an inline girl, I've found. But it goes really, really lovely, smoothly through the yarn. That's a pleasure to work with. So the fact that they're lightweight and the fact that the hook itself goes really smooth in is really, really nice. So I like that. I just wish this was longer. Somebody talked about adding pencil grip holders to the end here. Those of you who use pencil grip holders, could you do me the favor and link to the type that you're using if you know a store selling them, or if you found them on Amazon or something like that? Could you do me the favor and add those as a link in the comments down below? Or even better, you're also welcome to send me a link to where you bought them to my email address, which is pi.myre@gmail.com. I will add my emails to the comments box section here down below, so you know how to spell my email. But I would be really, really happy if you let me know what type of extension pieces that you're using for the hooks that you find is a bit in the shorter end. Because who knows, maybe that's a solution for me to make them that last bit comfortable. Not saying that they're uncomfortable, it's just like I feel that they're missing a bit of length. So this leafy shawl is crocheted, as I mentioned, in this lovely cake. This cake is what I have left of the cotton cake, which is a Stanley cotton cake. Stanley is by Pleta, or Pleta is owned by Stanley. Stanley Yarns is a Bulgarian company. It's 100% cotton. It's a fine weight cotton, so they recommend crochet hook 2 to 3mm, I think, and I'm using a 3mm hook. I think looking at how it's coming through here, the 3mm is a fine choice. 2.75 had probably also been okay. And they had 250 grams on the original skein. And 1,000 meters of lovely 100% cotton yarn. So yeah, that's it. And then we should talk a bit about the Oasis cardigan that I'm working on. The Oasis cardigan is a cardigan that I am crocheting in the Drops Baby Merino. And the Drops Baby Merino is this lovely, lovely yarn. and it is squishy soft. So they classified it as a yarn group A, and I have actually sort of cheated because I have a label from the current skein that I'm working on. So I will be using that to talk about it just for the easiness. Let's see, I should do it like this so you can look with me. The Drops Baby Merino is classified as their yarn group 8, which is the thinnest yarns they have. It's a superwash Baby Merino. You can send it to the dry cleaners. You cannot bleach it, you cannot tumble dry it, lay flat to dry. You can wash it at 40 degrees and you can actually even iron it. It does say keep the labels for washing purposes, obviously. Wash with inside out, don't use too much detergent, and yeah, it's 100% superwash treated extra fine baby merino wool, and it's 100% of course. Each of these balls are 50 grams, and that comes with 175 meters of wool. And they recommend crochet hook size 3mm or knitting needles 3mm. That said, I am actually using a 3.5mm for my project because that was what was advised in the pattern by Drops themselves. And I made a gauge swatch and it fitted the pattern as well. So that's what I'm following basically. I have made a couple of rounds since last time when I showed it. I've had to flock it and then re-add the rounds. Now I just added some more rounds. Actually, I'm almost done with my first skein. There's like 5 grams of yarn left here. It looks like much more than it is. I'm not sure if I can make a full round with what's left or not. But I just ended at the end of the round yesterday before to complete. The red stitch marker is marking, it's just holding the stitch so it's not running. The blue marks the very end of the round. I have, because this pattern is in repetition of 7, for 8 places I have to repeat the pattern. I have a stitch marker, so I kind of keep track on it. So there's these light blue stitch markers where I'm repeating. So that's the 7 repetitions. As you can see, it's worked from the center and out, and the center has this lovely circle. And you can see that I have these fan stitches. There should be 7 of them working all the way out. But as we get closer out, obviously, because between the fans I have these 2 chains, double crochet, 2 chains, etc. So it fits. But eventually, I do believe when you get to 6 of them, yeah, at 6, I add a new row of fans in between. So what you see here is basically that here I have the 2 original rows, and here is within a new fan row being set up. It's not very clear here, but there are actually chain 2 there between. And they look at this equally, identically, all the way around. The only place where there's a slight difference is here at the end and the start of the round due to how it's put together. But when I like place it down and look at it, it's not something that's bothering me as such, and it's probably just gonna be either going down or going up or something like that when I'm done. I haven't reached that yet. I'm not really sure where that will lead me. I do know that I will soon have to add my next skein of yarn to this project. Yippee! Because that's also somehow when I change yarns and I can see the yarn is diminishing, I have the feeling that the progress is also there, even sometimes it's less visible in the projects because you work in the round and it keeps increasing. This is one of these projects where you can like see it keeps increasing around and around, but therefore you don't have the feeling that it's increasing or progressing as fast compared to the projects where I just work in a straight line. The diagram, so I'm working with a diagram for I'm working basically with the drops pattern here. Ta-ta. I printed and I highlighted a few things for my own size. This was the start center, and this pattern I had to repeat 7 times. And now I am working on this piece, basically the A2 and the A3. So the A2 is the start of where these other fans are. So like you can, if you could sort of do it like this, right? Like if you can imagine the continuation. And here you can see this was from the last row of the previous. So the following row, I start to add these increases of the second. And here I am 2, 3, 4. I just finished this, so I have 2 more rounds to go. And then it's time to start reading the pattern again to figure out what's next. So it's progressing quite nicely and well. And size-wise, it's slowly the width of my chest. But this is the back piece, obviously, because the chest piece is just gonna be an open front piece. And here they have a drawing on how it's approximately going to look like. Hallelujah. I assume when I'm done with the last 2 repeats, I'm here for the arms maybe to start beginning on them. Again, I haven't read it yet, so please don't hang yourself too much in what I'm saying to you right now about this pattern. It does have some centimeter measurements, and it basically indicates, you know, the back piece with 1 big circle. You add some arms to it, and you will have 2 front pieces. And still, I'm not completely sure how to work it out. And I've probably, 3.5mm prim crochet hook. It's wonderful to work with this yarn with, because they are made for wool. And I do find these inline hooks are especially nice to work with. I find this yarn to be slightly splitty if not paying attention. But it's really nice and soft. It might be friendlier for knitters, but it's not too bad to crochet with. But yeah, the last thing I wanted to say about these drops patterns is that many find themselves with the drops patterns to be too difficult to understand, because they mainly work with diagrams, and when you read through their descriptions, they can be rather confusing. Yes, they can. Every time I end up finding a drops pattern, I'm like, oh yes, I'm gonna do this. I can do it. And then I'm reading through the pattern every time I'm like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? Why did I want to use this pattern? But the thing is, I look at the picture and I'm like, I want to make that. And I order the yarn, and then I read the pattern, and I do it every time. Every time. It ceased to fail me to read the pattern first and then order the yarn to get an idea if I can do the pattern actually or not. On the other hand, it's a challenge, and I do like challenges. So it's a really mixed feeling when I'm sitting with these projects where I'm like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? And then I'm like, I can do it. I don't know, have you ever started on a project for crocheting or knitting for that sake, but since we're making a crocheting channel, have you ever started a project that you did not know how to basically how to start on and finish and how to get through it on something completely new, because you liked what you saw on the photo, on the design photo, and you was like, I want that, I want to create that. And then you read the pattern and you're like, oh my God. Have you ever done that? Comments down below, I would like to know, because I am guilty of doing it so very often. And to be honest, I even have a new order in on some yarn that I'm going to use for some other drop patterns. You'll see that in a future yarn haul. Where Again, I don't know if I can make the patterns. I first know when I'm going to try it. But yeah, I actually this time also kind of wrote down what I want to make from the yarns. Hey, that's for future video, not for right now. I think that's pretty much the roundup for what I wanted to talk to you about this week. Except for that, life is going great. I will be seeing you next week, Monday, of course, for a new yarn talk video. But this week, what we do have coming up is we do have a giveaway coming up on Thursday. Stay tuned for that. That's going to be a very lovely giveaway. I am still kind of deciding on the content, the final content of the giveaway. But stay tuned for it because I am sure you will absolutely love it. I think I might do some tweed yarns. But hey, stay tuned for it. It's gonna be friendly for those that's allergic to wool. So yeah, stay tuned for that giveaway on Thursday. And then on Friday, I have a new visiting physical stores videos for you guys coming up, because I did find a Seaman XL store, which is supposed to be like a larger store than most of them. So I hope that they might have a bigger yarn aisle to take you guys along and do some shopping. I did not plan to buy anything there, but I ended up getting something with me back home. Obviously, I won't tell too much about that yarn talk, or not yarn talk, yarn haul slash visiting physical stores video, but that's up on the channel on a Friday morning. So yeah, stay tuned for that one. And then we are back next week, Monday, with a new yarn talk video. And then the following week is going to come up with lots of more projects to come. And given the fact that I now have the new lighting set up with a different way of running things, I hope that I can get some reviews done as well, and of course get started on my Leafy shawl, and that Leafy shawl will be made in my hobby twister yarn, which is I do believe colorway 52, called Zen Garden. I mentioned in a few other previous videos, and once I start on it, I will of course find the yarn and show it to you guys, but that's for the future. I thank you so much for watching this yarn talk video. Thank you so much for keeping supporting me. It's a pleasure sharing my yarn adventures with you guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice day. Until I see you again, take care.